So this is an Opel Meriva with clogged windshield wiper fluid spray nozzles. You can see right side fully clogged, left side just from one of the holes. Okay, it's been almost 2 weeks and it's quite a dangerous situation, so let's get this sorted. So here are the nozzles, and you can see they are lodged inside this plastic trim which is on top of the bonnet, and that means plastic trim has to come out before we get to the nozzles themselves. I'm not going to use a pin method or something because I wouldn't want to push something back in and then it gets forced out. I want to do some long-term fix on this. So to remove the trim, there are some Torx screws, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there are these plastic clips here. So those are 4 clips, and let's see if there is any other clip underneath. Anyway, we'll find that out when we start undoing this. So the right Torx bit seems to be the T25. T25. So before I remove the clips, let's just go ahead and release this pipe. This is the tube coming from the pump, and you can see here there is this plastic retaining clip that you need to just pry, and then you can pull out the pipe here. So you can see this is the one that goes to the pump, and this way when we remove the trim we'll be able to obviously not damage anything here. But what I want to do is to just quickly test and see if water is coming out when I prime the pump from inside. Okay, nozzle is there. Oh yes, good flow. You can see sprays all over the place. All right, so pump is working, and it seems to be, the pipe seems to be clear up until that point there. So let's go get the nozzles out. All right, so next we have 4 clips to remove, and these are retaining clips coming from the inside, holding the plastic trim up onto the metal frame here. And there are 4 of them, and if you look closely, you would see that they have some kind of a butterfly. Do you see? And I believe this enables a bit of compression to be able to squeeze and then push out. But just be ready. You may need a small pliers to do this, and if it's very cold or your car is quite old like this one, be ready to also destroy or break one of them. Okay, so I'm going to try as much as I can to preserve them while I undo the clip. Ooh. Pry and push out. So that's one. Till the clip is in a good position for you to squeeze together. Okay. All right, so I got it out, and you can see this is the form This is how the clip looks. If you do the motion I advise, then you will probably save all of them. If not, then just be ready to buy other ones. Okay, so now this is what we needed. This is the first nozzle. And let me set you up so you can see how to actually get it out. Okay, so this nozzle system here is being held by 2 retaining clips on both sides, and for that you need a small pry tool or a flathead screwdriver. And this is the motion you need to do. I'm sorry about the noise, I'm on the street. Sorry about the noise. And from this side too, just gently push in and then pry outwards. Actually, let's see if one side is sufficient to get the other side undone. Yep, it is. So you only need to actually get it unclipped from one side, and you can see this is how the retaining system works. You just need to push in and pull out. Alright, what I'm going to do is just take this whole piece up, clean it up, and get to work on my balcony in a more calm, quiet place. Alright, so I'm in my balcony now, a bit calmer, and I've got the part here. What I'll need, and I'll try to keep this basic as possible. I've got some compressed air, vinegar, something used to degrease, heavy duty and light duty degreaser, some warm water container, and something to pry, and an injection, a syringe with a needle. Okay, so the needle I'm going to use to try to push back stuff, and the injection I'm going to try to force water in the other way, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously you saw how hard it was to get the piece out, as we managed to save all of the clips. If you want to change the part, let me just get you the part number. So the part number is 40 11 40 137, General Motors. 40 11 40 137. On one hand, I believe that's on one side, and the one with the T junction here, it's 40 11 40 137. All right, the same part number. Okay, let me get these undone and start trying to clean them. Twisting. If you're finding it very difficult to pull this out with a very thin flathead screwdriver, you could just basically put it in on both sides, try to free up any gunk very carefully, and that should give you enough leverage, and just basically free up stuff that has been held on this way for many years. You could also use a hairdryer or something to heat up the plastic and make it easier to pull out, just like this. I'm going to do it on the other side and then start dealing with these. If you find any cracks or anything that okay, so actually here I just found a very tiny crack. Be very difficult to show. but yeah, cracks are not good. So you can see just here there is a crack. Okay, I'm going to see how this performs with the injection and see how we can recover it. If we can't, then obviously I'll have to replace this. Sadly, on the other side there is an even bigger crack. You can see there. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, let's move on. Alright, so this is a syringe needle. It's one of the tiniest ones you can get. Obviously you can get both of these in the pharmacy, and this is a needle for sewing. So I'm going to now start to try to push stuff back, and I would basically use the syringe to force liquid back out through the big pipes from the nozzle, and hopefully I can clear them enough. Okay, so just a quick test to see what's the current state of the nozzles. So from this side, just very lightly coming out from this nozzle here, but nothing coming out from here, I believe. Yeah, nothing. Basically spraying myself. Okay, on this side, what comes out? Nothing. So both of them are fully blocked. So now I'll just gently try to obviously clean these holes and see how we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just quickly flush out, with the help of my daughter, my assistant, the pipes under the trim with the syringe. Okay, so press hard. Okay, so water is coming out from here. That looks clean. Let's do it from this side. Okay, so syringe up here and push. Okay, good. So the water came off from this side. Now let's do it on the other side of the trim. Okay, from this side. Okay, hold the pipe too. Push. Good. More water. Okay, so water seems to be clean from this side too. So let me reinstall the nozzles inside, connect them all together, and see what happens when I try to force in water from one side of the pipe. So I have a huge syringe here. I don't know where this came from, but I found it in the parts bin, and I've been keeping it for a long time, not knowing what to do with it. It's going to come in handy when we test the system. But first, let me install this, just so we can test both at the same time. Okay, and then it goes in here. Try to get it flush with the trim head here in front, like this, and then push down. Okay, so I've installed all two nozzles, and I'm going to use a big syringe to try to push in water through this, basically where the pump is going to pump into, and see what happens. So yeah. that looks good. Unfortunately, this side with the big crack is leaking also, and this is why the jet is a bit weak on this side. I'll show you. Do you see the leak? Yeah. So yeah, this is what happens. Typically when you do this job, especially on this car, just be ready to switch them over and change them, because it might actually be a crack causing this weak issue. Okay, so I'm going to try to fix this. I've been looking at the prices on the internet, and looks like each side is going to be around 4,000 forint, Hungarian forint, which is yeah, so you can see them here, and these are not even GM parts. So let's say 8,000 hoof in euro, around 21 euro. So yeah, I could buy and order the part, but let's see if I'm able to so what I did actually was to cut open from that crack, remove the ball, and allow the needle to come down. This way it stops blocking anything inside. So now I'm going to put the ball back, squeeze on this, and then try to use a hot solder iron to weld along the crack. And we'll see how it performs then. Alright, so I have this the piece now in a tiny vise, just putting in a little bit of pressure along that crack to press them together. And I'm going to use my soldering iron, which is dedicated for welding plastic, to try to fuse that hole. This stuff is incredibly dangerous to smell, so be in a well ventilated area and absolutely do not breathe this in. I'm taking deep breath and I'm exhaling, looking away from this smoke. Tip is a knife shape, so it distributes the heat well. Okay, very tiny fix here. You can see. So now, moment of truth, when I remove the pressure holding the two parts together. It's dry now, it's cold. Let's see if the crack reopens. No, it doesn't reopen. So that crack sealed now. And since there is no pressure on this, now that the jets are free, we shouldn't have a break here, hopefully. And let me just touch the tip here to seal this part too. Yeah, like that. Okay, let me test it. Okay, we should see water spraying out from these two jets, not coming out from the bottom here. Yeah, it is still coming out from the bottom. With this jet being very weak. Okay, let's try to force back water outwards. Okay, that looks good. The water came out here quite a lot, so let's see what happens now. Okay, the jets are uniform now. Yes, this is what I wanted to see. The jets are both uniform and the check valve here isn't leaking that much water. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would let this leak a little bit. It doesn't really matter as much as as long as the pressure isn't building in here too much. It's fine if this leaks just a little bit. Yeah, long term they need to be replaced, but for now I would reinstall this. Okay, one more test. Both jets installed. Be mindful of the clips. Clips on the top. 3, 4. And now we are good with the clips. Okay, still a little bit wiggly here because we have 2 Torx knots to do from the inside on both sides. Okay, you hear that clip, and let's test this out. Okay, let's test this out. Oh yeah, 4 very strong jets. So that's the right side. And here's the left side. You can see 2 strong jets. Cool. Okay, let's bolt back everything in and finish the video.